All right, all right. Sorry for the delay. Having a little problems with Rumble Studio in the house. Not sure what's going on, but we'll get it. So that delayed me getting in, and I'm not sure exactly what it's doing. So it's okay. That's all right. You gotta love technology. It's like every time you go live, you're thinking, "We've been good every single time. I got this thing under control," and then boom, it's like the gods. They just say, "You're not going to do it. Not going to do it." Good evening, Dave in the AM with you here for the Southern Fried Podcast. And the Wi-Fi is a little unstable too, so we'll see what's going on with that. It's just one of those days. It's been a good day, but it's been one of those days. But it's all right. Uh, just want to come on and chat. We're going to do news later. Been getting a lot of stuff done behind the scenes this weekend. Didn't air as much, and that's because we've been busy. So we've just been trying to get some stuff done and stay on track with some stuff that we're really working on. And we are on Rumble, though. We're on the Southern Fried Podcast side, but I don't know that the studio is even airing. So it is what it is. I tried to fix it 3 times. So if you usually come in on the studio side, it's probably not there. It'll be okay. Oh, man. We're okay anyway. New month is starting. Be July. It's hot. Storms are coming. Got all kind of storms in and out. And it'll be okay. Hope you've had a great Sunday. Hope you got to go to church. We had a cookout after services celebrating the 4th of July coming up. And we do a mission Sunday. So it was really kind of a combination of those things. Had a good time. Visited with some folks. Had a bunch of folks out being with family and some just out not feeling well. But we enjoyed the ones that we were able to visit with, and enjoyed this morning's broadcast on Sunday Morning in the Word. A new song. I like that. New song. Sunday morning in the Word. Good song, if I do say so myself. And again, welcome to you that are coming in on Instagram and on every other channel. Of course, with the studio being out, there are a couple things that didn't get put in because we normally do that. And if it's not playing, then I don't think it is. Then those did not get played. So we'll reboot the system here in a few minutes, and we'll try to get it going again. So crazy stuff. I don't know, man. Sometimes they have trouble in that. Howdy, Coors Light connoisseur. How are you tonight? This Sunday evening. Hope you're well. Enjoy working. I'm assuming. I think you about like a lot of us. You just work all the time. Just work, and that's all I know, man. Just no work. Podcast is work too, but it's a good kind of work. But I enjoy what I do, except when it annoys me and it gets on my nerves. Enjoyed Killer Carl's program last night on the Rumble side. I listened in on that show most of I think just about the whole show. Yeah, doing good, brother. Doing good. I appreciate you coming in. I'm just this is Southern Fried MAGA. I'm just chatting. We're going to get more into news in a little bit. We'll talk about whatever. It don't matter if it's sports. It don't matter if it's news. You can talk about towing cars. I don't. That's whatever y'all talk about. I'm just chatting. I miss it. I usually do a couple of Saturday shows, and but you got to get things ready. We're really close to releasing. We've got 2 or 3 things working, and not all of them are. It's like spinning plates, and we're trying to get there. We're really close to at least our first initial offerings of our own Southern Fried Coffee, and it'll be available in our Shopify store. All that will be going live this week. I spent yesterday just going through legal paperwork and uploads. You know how that is. It's just the necessary stuff, and you got to do it. But it's like, I want to do the fun stuff. I want to go in and talk to my peeps and just see what's going on, and to be away, because I can't remember the last time I didn't broadcast on a Saturday at all. I did listen to some folks, but I didn't broadcast. And that's unusual for me, but got to get it done. And we took a week off to get some things done, but it's so many little quirks to it. We're just about there. We've got five or six. We're going to put up to. We'll have 8 to start. I'll get those other 3 up, and I'm excited about those blends. And we're covering most of the shows. We'll have eventually all up, including racing and sports. You can have your own coffee. It'll all be different blends. Every single one of them are a different blend. And if you would like a certain blend in a particular show's title that you want that logo, we can do that. We just have to add it in. It would just be a matter of contacting us. They have about over 40 blends that we can choose from. And so what we have up, and join our newsletter, by the way, and I guess I should put up, we really do want you to come into the newsletter because, and we haven't put one out. We said no more than one a week. And for last week, we didn't even do one because we wanted to just, we're getting some things ready. But I was intending to, but we'll put out another newsletter first of the week. I think we did post a social media post with some of this, but the newsletter, the Breadhead newsletter. Just send us your email. We'll load you in. It become from MailChimp, Southern Fried Podcast, or the Southern Fried Cornbread Nation, I think actually what it's officially titled, which is our website. We would love to have your be able to contact you, and also if you allow us to put it in the coffee, our Shopify store. Again, they'll all tie together. We won't overload your email. It's a way for you to stay connected and get a little bit behind the scenes stuff going on too. And we're going to try to have some contest and some things in the newsletter that's only seen in the newsletter, and we'll do prizes and stuff off of that, some gifts and stuff. So that's all intended. We're getting geared up for our festival. We're going to be in less. It's only about 20 days away. Arranging for my off time on Saturday. I work on Saturday. Arranging that with a feller, and we'll be headed down to Camilla, Georgia for the Ag Fest. And looking forward to that. We'll be live streaming the whole time. We'll be interviewing people. Lots and lots of that going on. We'll try to get a lot more going live to people in there. We'll have one camera that just runs. We'll run a dual camera, and we'll have one camera that's just people walking by. That's kind of neat. You like the people watch. That's always cool. And then you'll be able to hear them as they come in and talk to us. And then we'll go live on the street as we go around the ag inside. Thank goodness. I don't think I can handle it outside as we go around and do that stuff. So it'll be fun. The newsletter, hey, thank you. Yeah, thank you. We'll do that. The newsletter will have everything about what we're working on. It'll have some updates. It'll be comments from me and Rob, Jeb, and Bubba as we fully develop it. It won't be overly long, but we will add some stuff in. There'll be links in there to things that we're offering, and we were going to put some things in there first before we show them on live on the air. And, so you got to get a sneak peek at what's going on with the podcast behind the scenes. That could be logos, that could be news, whatever. We will offer it there 2 or 3 days before you even see it on here. So we'll still offer things, if you don't do that, you're going to see it anyway. You just be a little bit after. We're going, that's kind of our fan club sort of thing. If you go to buy a coffee, we also have kind of that there. We're going to tie some of this stuff together. If we can figure it out. We got some stuff to tie together. We may have to. Our store doesn't link up directly with Shopify. We can make it work, but we'll keep that store, but we may have to actually move some of our stuff over. We can actually track it through there, but we have to manually enter the order. That's not fun. So we may actually move it over to another. We'll have to do it all again, more time behind the scenes, move it behind, and upload some of that stuff upload that stuff into a new store. Just be the same thing, and we'll just go from there. So, Broski Bear, good to see you, buddy. What a week for our Commander in Chief and for our great country. Absolutely. Great things going on, like it. And, cool stuff. He's kicking name. You know, they're trying to. There was major news tonight. I mean, you probably saw this, and I wasn't. Again, we're talking about whatever, so it doesn't matter. But you know, there was major news a few hours ago that Senator Tom Tillis would not seek reelection after opposing the tax bill. Um, you know, there were people lining up to. There are some senators that are going to get challenged heavily. He was one of them, but there are some senators that's going to get challenged heavily in the next election round that their seat is up for election from their own Republicans. There's a lot of people frustrated with. There's about five, I would say, just estimated 5 senators that people are really frustrated with in how they've acted, and people are just mad. They're tired of it, you know, and I think they're feeling the full weight of that. You know, it's okay to state how you feel, but when you run a full-on campaign, and they know that it's a slim margin, so you know everybody, and this is the thing, everybody, including Republicans, some of them are getting pork put in this bill. That's the way it goes. It's the most sickening thing about getting these things passed is they will, you know, and of course the Democrats are debating, you know, reading the whole thing. They're bragging about that. Really? Like you think that's, you know, you're making a great point that you're reading it, and I just Elizabeth Warren. I don't know why in the world they're trying to pop all these libs up on my X profile. I blocked that one. I just I'm just scrolling there. She is popping up right, bragging about going in and how they're reading the whole bill, and she's out there riding the car, but saying she's leading. No, you're not. You're riding a car. You're not even there. But yeah, so there are all these late nights that they're trying to get this thing done before the July 4th, and they've already given some extra things to Alaska to get them on board, although they could still back out. Billions of dollars. It's just this, it's cheap what some of these people do. It's like the value of your vote goes up, and Coors Light. If you just email us at that email. If you've already done that, you're good. We'll load that in. We won't share that, and we promise we won't overload. We won't overload your email. That's our promise. You got the Rob and Dave promise. We're not going to do that. We don't share your email, and we won't send you something every day. We haven't sent anything in 9 days. So to show you we will post on social medias a little more frequently, several times a week. We put a lot of videos up anyway, but we will put some things up on that as far as social media. But we won't we won't overload your email because I don't like that either. When they just constantly are pounding your email, and I'm just not going to do that. I feel cheap doing something like that. So you get the point. If you read it, you read it. If you don't, you don't. But at least you'll have it there. And we appreciate those who've signed up. Yeah, Tillis is a punk. He got scared and retired, but I think former Governor Cooper will run. He's doing. Yeah, and that and that's what you run into. There are some that are getting out and retiring, and in some cases that's going to be hard seats to fill, and maybe filled by someone you don't want. So. And again, that's that I don't get my way or I'm getting a lot of heat. So I'll show you. I'll just retire. And let you fight it out and, take her toys and go home. I never have a problem with people that are, that want to, that want to share their opinions. I want to hear that. I want to hear the discourse. I want to hear the debate. Absolutely. But at some point, you have to come together and move forward with these things and get the country moving forward. Nobody gets whatever they want, and there's always going to be some parts in that. But you would hate that your own party is doing that, and that's what's frustrating. And there's Massey seems like he's wanting to get peace now on his side of things because he's a little tired of the war. It's getting hot for him. He enjoyed that spotlight for a little bit, but now it's getting hot, and he's not happy about that. Tillis keeps bringing up J6. He was, yeah, and he was one of them that people were, well, let's get him out of there. Let's primary him and let's get him out. So yeah, and they show their true colors. Like I said, back in 2016, I don't know anybody personally on the. I mean, I've been to some people on the national levels meetings, but I can't say that I know them personally. But in the state level, I have known people personally that have served and have been at the Capitol and have heard the comments way back in 2016 about the president. And they mocked him and they said he would never be president. He was a joke and all this. Those same people, they MAGA all the way, baby, to the world because they wanted to run. They wanted to win. And they didn't want him campaigning against them. So, yeah, absolutely. Spartan, and I was really preaching about that today. That around the world, you just can't say what you want. There's news coming out of Iran, because they're scared that there's going to be regime change, and it's not from. And there's different people certainly that could be involved, but they're killing a lot of people. They're executing a lot of people, of their own people. Anybody that looks suspicious, acts suspicious. I mean, what is this, like the Salem witch trials? I mean, who's to say what's odd or what's different? You could, so they say they're hanging them and executing them by the droves. They're afraid of, they're trying to get the people rallied up to overthrow them. So the press doesn't really report too much of that, but it's pretty ugly. It's like when they went after Hitler and they missed. I mean, they just missed. They injured him. They hurt him. They didn't take out the leader. And he went on a killing spree that went all the way up to one of his high generals, right? I mean, that was the amount of people that died. That's what happens. If you miss, if you fail, you're doomed. I mean, truth. Europe is done. They're socialist, no free speech, no living free. And it's true. There is Macron. What a piece of work that guy is. And this whole deal with his wife, I mean, what the heck? I mean, it's really a shame. I mean, at one time, at one time, France really was a honored military. I'm trying to get the words out. I mean, at one time, they walked the dog, but they have that country has just went to the pot. I'm telling you, it is bad. Spartan, I would say you're right. They are those agents there, and it could be others as well. I don't know that it's. I wouldn't say it's just that, and I know you're back where you come from, but it is. There is a lot of people in that. I mean, they don't know who's the friend or who's the enemy, and so, there's a breakdown there. Also, news that there's some work going on at one of the sites, the Fardell. I think that we hit. So Spartan disagrees. Europe is not done. Poland and Ukraine are still very wide. Look at Ukraine. Well, Ukraine's getting whopped up pretty hard. They're getting whopped up pretty good, and we're telling them that the well's drying up. So it's a weird dynamic right now between the United States and Europe and the Middle East, and but that's the Trump effect. He is everybody that pigeonholes him into a certain hole, they never get it exactly right. Uh, no, I never said they weren't brave. I did never said that Ukraine is not brave. But what I said is Ukraine is running out of the ability to wage that war. Uh, no, they're brave, or that wouldn't have lasted as long as it is. They've got some serious fighters in that country, but unfortunately, a lot of them are dead. So so we appreciate you folks. All right, we got a lot of folks coming in here tonight, and you know what do you get? You get a lot of different things. So it's a weird dynamic of collection of folks tonight. But anyway, well, and what was Zelensky doing at NATO? What was he over there for? He's not NATO. He's not supposed to be there. I mean, I'm not saying they can't bring people in. This guy's standing in for the picture. There are, yeah, but it's a radicalism, Spartan. I mean, and what's the fight? Is the fight to will they destroy? I mean, and that's the thing. Europe is, and with everything that's going on across the country. Well, and you know what? There's people calling for that, but that's not how we work over here. That's not our way to do that. There are people saying that, and we don't need the chaos. We need to get the people taken care of and put away that are causing those things. And they should have went to jail, and they should have been put on trial. That's what I'm saying. The way is not to strike back and be to be violent. I get that there was a day when we first started our country, but we do follow the rule of law, and that's a big difference. And that there are people in this country that have done that, and they've been executed for it because they killed people. And so you just can't go around. There are people saying that. I've heard some shows, even friends I like, have people on their show, and others are saying, you need to slow your roll. You're calling. I mean, we don't need anarchy in our country. We absolutely don't want anarchy. Well, and again, that's the freedom you have to say that. But again, we have people that are put in positions that we need to hold them accountable for why they didn't, follow through with stuff. So, and again, we've got people in our country that have, states. I mean, there's not even an agreement across the states, and the federal level have pushed a lot of things back to the states. So it depends on what state you go to, of what you're going to find. they were talking in the show the other night about people coming to their state. They're like, I think there should be a 7-year wait for they can vote in our state. Don't mess our state up just because you messed up another one. Don't come to mine and mess it up. Because on the federal level, they certainly are pushing a lot of things back. There's a lot of states that have suffered with influx of some differing ideas, and it's flipped communities overnight, certainly. But it's not just people moving from state to state; it's people coming in the country. Okay, fair enough. And I've heard your comments on that before, but I'm telling you, we're just not going to be. If we ever get to that point, we are doomed. You can't have the only way that happens, and there are people calling for it, is for a leader to under the Constitution to go in and arrest people at many levels. But when you do that, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be very ugly. And there were people calling for that back in before the first Trump administration that were saying he needs to do this and, calling for that. But I'm telling you, this ain't Europe. This ain't Europe. It's not. It's going to be different, and it's going to be uglier. And America would be in serious trouble. So we've got to take care of things. We've got to get the right people in place and deal with things in a legal way, and not just take on going to the streets to protest is one thing. Going to the streets to do what you're talking about is not what I want to see in my nation. I don't, because it'll get out of control. It'll get out of hand, and it'll just look like this other side. It'll just be you won't be able to tell the difference is what will happen. You won't be able to tell the difference. You can't control that kind of thing, and it'll be ugly. And so, no, I'm not for that. Not for it. It's easy for people to sit and start calling for that. And I can tell you there are people from Europe that are now citizens of the United States, and it's scaring them to death because they said, I've lived through that. And you don't want that here. You do not want that. Now, these are people that's lived through that. I'm telling you, I've had them sit and talk to me and tell me that what they're hearing and the rhetoric and stuff scares them. Like, this was what was going on in my country before war, before it got ugly, before they had the mass graves. You don't want it. You don't want it. So I hear them loud and clear. They've lived it. And I've heard their stories of concentration camps and the loss of people. They don't even know where they are. To this day, there's cities that many can't go into because they're not welcome in that city. That's not what we want, America. That's not what we want. That is absolutely not what we want, man. No. That's me. That's where I'm sitting. That's my opinion. But now they don't have territorial claims. We've conquered, man. Come on. They don't have territorial claims. No, they don't. They absolutely do not. We don't recognize. What we took in war, we own. It's ours. They don't have a territorial right to nothing. That's American soil. Yes, broski, absolutely. If we have the evidence, then we arrest them and we give them their due date in court. But we don't do what you're talking about. So you can't do that. But this territorial claim crap, no. I've heard people say that we're going to lose half of California and half of the southern United States back. No, we're not. We took that. What you lose in war, you lose. There is no territorial claim. That's over. That's why you want a strong military. Because whoever comes in and takes over your land and they run their flag up, they're not giving it back. They're not giving it back. There's not enough. There are some rabble rousers that say that, but I can tell you that there's not enough of them to form a big enough army to stop, just to make that happen. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I'll tell you when the chaos will occur is when the church is lifted out of here and the Christians are gone. That's when those things could happen. Yeah, I think it would be horrible in America at that point. But while we're going to have to go through some tough times. That's not going to happen now. I don't see that. But again, you have your opinion. I have mine. That's the beauty of a podcast. So I get it, man. I'm good with it. Like I said, some things I'm not putting on the screen because I got to measure what I feel is maybe a little rough, and I don't want that up there. But I am conversing with you, so I appreciate you keeping it. And again, I want you to have your opinion. You do. Well, and I think we're getting some of them out of here. By the way, did you hear the number of how many are being removed every day? This is interesting. The number doesn't bother me, but it is an interesting thing. This was put out as an official number, that the number of illegals that are being removed from the United States averages 666 a day. 666 that are being processed out. It's not counting all the ones that's arrested, but that's the ones leaving. 666 a day. How did they? It wasn't one number less, one number more. We've come up with that number. I mean, if most people think if you have that number, I know people that go to the store and if that number pops up, they'll buy something else or take something out. They say, I don't want to pay that. Here's some gum. I'll pay more. That was just come out a couple of days ago in the news. 666. I think it was whatever the article was. You can look it up, but I didn't come up with it. It was just put out. It was a news talking about seizures and deportations or whatever. That just cracks me up. Like we couldn't change the number by one. Hey, we need an extra one today. Make that 667 a day. We're not going to go down. Well, let's go up one more. That's not really the number I want to report. Oh. Oh, man. And we got some storms over the weekend, too. I mean, some really rough storms. I don't know about you. Hey, by the way, Broski, I was thinking about you earlier. You know, you see these things on the internet, and I'm in different streams all the time because of the podcast. And I don't remember which one I was on. I want to say it was probably TikTok or Facebook or one of them. Anyway, they were talking about doing a video from the Charlotte Coliseum and all the trash that's on the street around that. I don't know if it's like that all the time. They seemed to act like it was. But maybe that was after a big event. There was a lot of trash left. I know how these videos can be crafted to make it look like it was like that all the time. But have you been in that area? Because I know you're South Charlotte. Have you been in that area? I can verify or not. Is that a problem in around that arena? I mean, it's pretty nasty. You know, and I know a lot of cities have a lot of filth and litter and trash, all kinds of things left on the street, sidewalks, and whatever. But, you know, it is ugly because it was right up against the building. It's not like it was, streets around it, which they don't really have any control over. This was the video that this young man showed was around the building. It was on property that would be owned by the arena. So, and they showed the name of it, moved the camera up so you could see what arena it was and said, this is what we're dealing with here. So if you're still in the program, I'm just wondering. I saw it and I'm like, okay, I think it's good. I'll just ask Broski about it and see if he can verify this. Because sometimes people make videos and it's not what it seems, It's entertainment. I don't look, but I think he's making a video, sure. I have no problem with that. We make videos. But I just want to make sure that it was accurate. If it's accurate, that's horrible. They need to clean it up. We had in our city, well, the biggest city near me, which I'm just outside the state lines, we had gotten away from people that were doing community service picking up trash. And it was starting to look bad. I got to be honest, it was bad. On the way to one one way I went, there was this one particular stretch of road that just looked horrible. And I thought, I think I'm going to every day I come through, I'm going to take a trash bag and just fill up and do my part. And right as I was thinking that, like in the same week, it was amazing. They had made a decision to put those folks back out there doing that. And they talked about they didn't have the resources to clean up all the time. And people were just trashy, throwing things out the window, which is horrible. And things that blow out of trucks, sometimes it's innocent, but they should secure their trash. And the next time I went through, it was cleaned up. So I was glad about that, and you're paying your communities, you got trouble. So you're doing your community service and you're cleaning up your city. I'm all for it. I think it's a good thing. It's better than I'm sitting in a sale or something, or, you're doing community service, Sometimes it's washing city cars. Sometimes one of my sons has had trouble, and I pray for him, by the way, because we got court Tuesday. He did some of his community service at a park and emptied trash and picked up, limbs that were down after a storm. And it actually made him feel good. He said it's called the Bojangles Coliseum. Now it's close to East Charlotte. So is that an accurate description of what he showed? That it's that trashy around the arena? And I'm not talking about the streets around it. Once again, I'm talking about what he showed was two sides of it, and it was pretty trashy. Oh, you haven't been there in 10 years or so. Okay. Um, okay. I was just wondering, man. So they're linked up, Spark. You say it's the same story. Hey, shout out to Killer Carl, and I'm not bragging on me or nothing like that. I just really wanted to do, and that's what he said. I think I shocked him. I just wanted to, because I really like, we're going to have our own coffees, but I've been a big fan of the 55coffee.com that he advertises in his show. And yeah, it was a video that was on like TikTok or something, man. So anyway, I, okay, Sigma, how you doing? Um, Poland is a puppet state, and the USA. I know Murphy and Carl. I love them. Okay. Anyway, I sent Killer Carl and welcome. I'm sorry. I was clicking on stuff and I may have clicked the wrong thing, man. Sorry. It wasn't intentional. I'm running about 4 screens right now and I'm trying to watch a different thing. So they're great. But anyway, I just did a promo for that. And I said, if you can use it, I didn't know that I did. I was clicking on something else and I didn't know that was you. So I apologize. I didn't know that you were muted. I really didn't. I was trying to click on something else. And sometimes I've got my screen squeezed a little bit and stuff runs over. So it wasn't intentional. So I'm engineering by myself. So forgive me, please. All apologies. uh, okay. I don't know what that does. I just spent 5 minutes. No, actually, I was looking because I had some screens will show options there, some don't, and I wasn't trying to. No, you're still talking here. I wasn't trying to mute anybody. Y'all are funny, but anyway, get back in my story. Y'all, my brain is frazzled tonight. Anyway, I sent him the promo because I was really bragging on the coffee company and him because I appreciate him, and I got. They sent 2 extra coffees. Anyway, he showed that video last night. And shout out to him. I hope it helps him. And I wasn't doing it for me. I just thought, man, if this will help you sell more coffee, because I love the stuff. I'm telling you, man, it's good coffee. And they sent me 2 extra blends. And I had sort of loosely heard that when I was in his live. And I ordered it from the live. And so I thought, here's you something, maybe you can use it. And so I just, I like doing that kind of stuff. I like making little the Gorilla Garage. What you said? That's funny. How are you doing tonight, Sigmunk? I like the name Sigmunk. Sigmunk. Let me get it right. And then Sigmund was a frog. So we got different ones in here. But I hope you are doing well. Happy Sunday, Well, good. I'm glad you are. Thank you for coming in the chat. Yeah, we got these. There's so much going on in our political parties right now, and in Washington, and this is going to be an ugly week. I think it's going to be there's going to be some things that the Democrats are so up on their high horse right now. Like they act like they're riding into Washington with a flag. Like they don't care about America. They don't care about the flag, but they act like they're riding in, like a cavalry with their flags on. And that's the way Elizabeth Warren's video, which I didn't go to watch, it popped up in my stream. And and anyway, I was like, what the heck is she saying? So I clicked off. It was muted. And she's like, I'm on my way to Washington. We're making them read the bill. I was like, these people ripped her. I really love to go watch videos just to read the comments. And the comments were scathing on her. Like, no, you're just making a video. You're not making anybody do nothing. She's all up like Granny up on top of that steering wheel. Yeah, I'm going to Washington. They're going to make them read the bill. Shut up. but there's people hooked into that. There were a few in the comments like, "Oh, thank you for what you're doing. Oh, thank you for saving America." No, she's not. She don't care nothing about you either. Yeah, we'll see, broski. We'll see. I don't know. I really don't know. See, Demon Rats have played almost all their cards. They repeat performance not working. Not even true. Yeah, people are sick of it. It's the same old crap. It's the same old crap. It's interesting if you think about it. I like to look at when any kind of news is going on. I like to look at who's not talking, who's a little quiet. Even on the Democrat side, there's some people that are really like they may be working behind the scenes, sure, but yeah, I know what you meant, brother. But they are very quiet tonight on one side. I mean, there's some of the usual cast of characters that are very solid this weekend. You know, if there's anything, it's not really popped up. And believe me, the left has tried the algorithms in my social medias. They have tried to shove this down my throat. I don't know if it's happening to you, but I've had to block or just turn off some notifications that they shoved in my media. I mean, tons of. I was even getting Bernie Sanders crap. I never pull these people. I don't care anything for what Bernie says or Elizabeth Warren. I will read press articles about them. I can't stand listening to them. I don't want to listen to their videos. And that video, I was like, look at her. She thinks she's like a hero coming into Washington. The comments were gold, absolute gold. They was scathing. They ripped that woman from one end to the other. She's like, I'm going to save America. No, you're saving nothing. You're a big part of the problem, Pocahontas. Go home. Pull over in a Waffle House. Like she goes in a Waffle House. And then brag. I know that both sides have done this, but come on. Reading the whole thing, the whole bill, come on. When do they ever read a whole bill? They passed bills that were sight unseen from Pelosi. Don't be giving us this like, the Republicans won't read the bill, but we will. You don't care. You have signed off on everything that Pelosi said. You never cared about was in a bill, as long as you got your, we'll say, one hand washing the other. As long as that came in, you didn't care. It's like, oh my gosh. Sometimes, remember the beer commercial she did? I saw that one played on one show. That was back when, I think was when she was running for president, and she had the beer, the cringy beer commercial or video. Oh my gosh. Where do these people come from? I mean, they're just weird. Weird. And so just watching some of them in the voices that are, and what are they were getting on ALC over the weekend. What was it about? She's put on some weight. Was that it? She's put on some weight. They were dogging her out a little bit. Steve at the Celtic Blacksmith, he won't like that. He will not like that they're jumping on ALC. Bernie is older than Biden. He sounded terrible on Joe Rogan podcast. He tried, but he failed. It's so easy to destroy these fools by sticking to the facts. Yeah, I only saw clips of it, but I can't believe he went on there. He thinks his message is the same. It's never changed. And I mean, the guy needs a new stick. I mean, he has the same. This guy has been saying the same stuff for decades. He just keeps saying it. I mean, he's wearing the same suits from decades ago, and he's saying the same thing. Yeah, he's getting older. He's starting to look bad. Now, oddly enough, I thought Bill Clinton looked a little bit better the last video I saw him in. He looked like death warmed over there for a little bit. He still looks bad, but I thought he looked a little more, had a color to him, like he might be feeling a little bit better. That guy looked bad. I mean, bad. He looked like Biden in that debate. His mouth hanging open. That look. That is absolutely going to be gold for decades. The Trump Biden debate. the way he would look at the president, former president, the way he would look over like, oh my gosh, I can't. What do I say to that? Oh, he's looking for help. Jill, you answered all the questions, Joe. Well, I don't know. I tried. I mean, he talked some pretty good smack up there. I mean, I didn't have any answers. Y'all didn't prepare me for some things. I think I lost my page. I flipped over, and it was just blank. And he's over here. I didn't know what to say, so I just looked at him. Oh man, Bernie. Wouldn't that be an ugly thing to give as a gift? The beanie, the beanie Bernie doll or something. Oh my goodness. So Sig Monk, what part of the country do you come from? What state? You don't have to give like GPS coordinates. I don't know. I've ever asked Spartan where he's coming from. I don't know. You don't have to say, but if you do, I just like to know where you're kind of at. We have a big Ohio connection. We have a lot of people come from Ohio, North Carolina, North Idaho. How cool is that? Thank you. Thank you for sharing. North Idaho. I didn't, but not as north as in Yankee. I like that too. What is being talked about? Give me an idea of. It's 88 degrees cool. Okay. What is what's the political situation on a state level in Idaho? Give me something that, because just is there anything that's kind of sticks out right now? I mean, Wisconsin seems to always have something going on. My God, Michigan. I mean, these states are always in the news for political weird crapola that's going on. I just wonder, is there something on a state level that kind of stands out where they're trying to deny rights and stuff? 60-40 red to blue. Okay. Probably the biggest cities there. Probably a lot of that 40. Absolutely. Broski Bear, I didn't miss that. You said he couldn't walk off the stage by himself. He couldn't walk down the 36 down. Help me, Jill. I'm falling. A lot of relocations, but that won't liberal laws like. That's sad. I mean, let me get back over here. There we go. That's sad. I saw a headline that said firefighters and police were ambushed. Oh, okay. I did not hear that. Ambushed in Idaho today. College towns are blue too. Yeah. I get it. Idaho. Isn't Idaho where? What was the big? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. What was it? Idaho, where the big shootout was up in the mountains with. Man, I just went blank. You know what I'm talking about. If you're from there, you know what I'm talking about. Probably Boise or Pocatello. Blue and crime issues. Yes, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue. Randy Weaver. That was the end of that. I've read the story. I mean, I've watched the movie and I've read his daughter's, or maybe it was his book. One of the two. Not that long ago. And really got into that. 1992. Lots of Californians moving to Idaho. Yeah, that was a huge government. Yeah, Ruby Ridge. That was Idaho. That was way back up on that hill. And what a tragic story. Now, it was the wife and the son that got killed. Am I correct in that? I'm going by my memory. The daughter and Randy lived, right? It was I know the wife died, but didn't the boy got killed too, right? The son. Oh my gosh, they set up. I mean, you talk about invasion force. Um, he goes and speaks to different groups, and that's one of those stories that will always be studied of where that went and how quickly it escalated, and just it's an ugly, 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 ugly history in our country. I mean, I know there's a lot of ugly. That's certainly one of them. A more modern time frame. Absolutely horrible what happened there. But that story, I mean, the way they, you know, I mean, you do get that sense. I mean, it was like them against the world, you know. And there wasn't a whole lot there. I mean, I mean, we're not talking about a huge compound or nothing. It was a sad, sad, sad story. But yes, Ruby Ridge. That's another one. Then you had Waco that was in that same. What was Waco? Was that 94, 95, somewhere in there? David Koresh. You know, then you had Oklahoma City that came on. Um, just crazy stuff. I've been to that site, Oklahoma City bombing, several times. I've never been to Waco and I've never been to Idaho. Idaho is a state I've never been to. There are a handful of states, more in the north, the mid, like in Idaho, like extreme upper western United States. I've not been to Oregon or Washington State but I've been across just about every state in the southern from southeast to southwest, and then up the eastern seaboard, several. But there are some states I haven't been to. Waco, 1993. Thank you. I mean, just the timing of that stuff. Elian Gonzalez, that was also 90s. And I know that because that was late 90s, wasn't it? Wasn't that around, oh, I'm going by memory, 98, 99? Waco, February 1993. Again, another thing that didn't have to happen the way it happened. Didn't have to happen that way. Just horrible. No, I have not. That's a state I haven't been to, New Hampshire. Have you been there, brother? But there was just all these, jackboot kind of things that were going on around the country. It was a rough decade. A rough decade for a lot of stuff like that. Really just made you wonder what was going on in our nation. And Spartan, you were said you must be a Michigan man. He never said. I don't think, unless I missed it, and I could have. Ellen Gonzalez, 1999. I knew it was around that time because I remember it was when I went back to my home church, and I remember me and my pastor disagreed, and people were like, it wasn't like a bitter division or nothing, but I think he had just became my pastor. He was a preacher in the church, but we disagreed about the story, elements of it. And okay, New Hampshire's great. White Mountains are unique. Live free or die is the state motto. Okay. But yeah, that from beginning to end, what a decade. What a decade. The Pacific Northwest is wonderful during summer. It's the people that make the environments like with rides. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's beautiful. Absolutely. When you look at like Mount, oh man, my brain is not working tonight. I know there's always people get trapped on it. That's up in Washington. What is the mountain I'm thinking? It's beautiful. That's a beautiful area. We are blessed here in America. We really are. We have so many different types of environments from north to south, east to west. And people, for all the people that live here, and we have so much still, thankfully, forest, lots and lots of forest. And we should keep that. Not Olympus, Dean. I wasn't thinking about Olympus. But how you doing, buddy? I know you enjoyed that race last night. Mr. Chase getting the win. He needed that. But then, their race team keeps getting in trouble. Fines 3 times through the check before the race. Yeah, fines. The crew chief, he was kicked out for the whole weekend, wasn't he? Wow. And it's Chase and Larson. They both getting in trouble. Their teams. But I would love to go up there. I imagine, Idaho just has places that are so remote that you really could go off the grid. Now, there are other places around the country, but I definitely would think that's a play. And I think that was probably appealing to Randy Weaver to be off the grid where he was at. I think that was part of the appeal, if I remember right, was to be, only go to town when you have to. Lake Coeur d'Alene, I'm sure I butchered that. Coeur d'Alene for tourism. I'll have to pull up pictures of that. I'm not as familiar. North Kentenai Mountains. Okay, for solidarity. Okay. They've got some ranges up there, yeah, some mountain ranges, and you can really get away. I'm sure there are people up there right now who they're off the grid. They are out of sight. Stay away. We're where we want to be. Just like Montana. That's a state I would love to go to, is Montana. Never made it. I don't know if I'll make it in this life or not. My wife can't hardly travel long distances anymore. Yes, broski, that famous picture with a little alien being held by his uncle, I believe, in the closet with a federal agent pointing an MP5 carbine at him. I will never forget it. And that's where me and my pastor disagreed, because he was full on with the authorities because he was a first responder. And so he's like, they're just doing their job. I said, really? Really? The mama died getting him here. Died. And he can't stay. He has family here. I don't care that the daddy's in Cuba. That's part of the problem. She was getting away from daddy. I was so mad. Yeah, we had some disagreement about some stuff, That, by the way, the Waco, that was the first time I really heard from what I would call patriots. And I was listening to some programs, and when that raid was going on, and I listened to them live, I mean, it was heartbreaking. And they were pointing out things I didn't even consider, And it really at that moment is really where it was always there, but it's really where I found myself questioning a lot of the status quo. Honestly, that event, the Ruby Ridge, but then when Waco hit, I really started questioning what are we doing, and then what was going on. And I still don't think we got the whole story on Oklahoma City. I still don't. I don't think we do. There's more there, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I don't have any direct knowledge, but my gut tells me there is part of that that's never been really revealed. Broski Bear. I found that the Mount Shasta California off out EBT and food stamps. People just claim they love to be free, but they love some big government. Oh yeah, if they can get some stuff to go buy them some heads of lettuce. I say that because I went into a local store many years ago, and I some of the Grateful Dead, the Deadheads or whatever they're called, and they were going on. They were traveling their little RVs and vehicles and stuff. They came in the store and it looked like something out of the 60s, that hippie look. And I remember them being so excited about how great the lettuce looked. And I can eat lettuce or I can leave it. But I was like, I watched these guys, and I think they were obviously on acid, but obviously. And they were like, look, brother, oh, we have found the pot of gold. Look at this lettuce. What the heck? I didn't know what they were until I went outside and I saw the Deadhead stuff on their RVs. Spartan. I'm on the East Coast. I've been to Hawaii, my favorite U.S. state. It feels like another country. Only 14 days. I am not poor, but not rich enough to go there all the time. I hear you. I remember they knew who the OKC bombers were and were tracking them on the news after that happened. It was a race to the airport to flee the country. Well, the reason that I question some of that, and it seems like this happens, and maybe it's just bad reporting, I don't know. But it seems like there was a third guy that was very much talked about, and then you never heard anything about him again. And I'm not talking about there was a third guy they interviewed. I'm talking about a whole nother guy, or maybe we say fourth guy, that they had put out an APB on. They were looking for him, and we never heard any more about it. This guy was supposed to be involved. Was that just bad police work or faulty police work or bad reporting and bad media? I don't know. But I just feel like it was like this connection to the militias, but that was like only focused on them. Like there was nobody else that was involved. Like it was just these two guys mainly. I have a hard time believing that. There was a lot of help given to these guys. They may not have been on the operations, but you can't tell me there weren't some people involved in that region or throughout the United States that were helping. I've just always felt like that. Yes, that's my point. Thank you, sir. It was weird. It's like, hey, wait, there's more than these two guys. What the heck? Spartan says, if I ruled planet Earth, Hawaii would be home to my capital city. I've never been to Hawaii. I wouldn't mind visiting. That's the place where Gomer went, right? That's where he retired to. Okay. That's where the Idaho shooting happened. I need to study more about Idaho. I really do. If I were to name a state that I know the least about, that's the one. And I don't know why. I like history. I like studying. I like reading about stuff. But honestly, I just don't know much about Idaho. Other than the potato. That's it. And maybe some football stuff. I really don't know anything about Idaho, just being honest. You feel like that I would love Hawaii. Awesome. By the way, did you see that Dog the Bounty Hunter has come to Georgia? Him and his new wife, they have moved to Georgia, close to Alabama, because Leland, lives in Alabama with his wife and runs a little bonding thing out of there. And I don't know the exact location or nothing, but they've put out videos this weekend. They're living, yeah. Yes, I apologize. Potatoes. Well, you can't eat just one. For years, my mom would say, it's got to be the Idaho potatoes. We would go to a fruit stand sometimes and get the 50 pounders, and sometimes those were Idahos and sometimes they were not. But Idaho is very, very boring. After you do the national parks, it's over. Nothing else going on. I think that's why people like it there. Yes, it is, Dean. There's a lot of good history around Tunnel Hill. I've went and visited a lot of that. I guess just about all of it, really. And they do good political meetings in the train depot. I know because I've been there. I saw MTG there. Hawaii, the land of Tulsi Gabbard. That sounds like a good tourist slogan or something, Hawaii, the land of Tulsi Gabbard. I like that. That's cool. That's absolutely cool. Very nice. So, have you been? I'm assuming, Broski, because of the way you said that, you've been to the national parks in Idaho. I imagine they're beautiful. I mean, I sure do. But it reminds me of Tommy Boy. When the Rob Lowe is like, "What do y'all do for fun in this town?" He's bored to death. Big city guy. Shooter shot 2 firefighters responding to a fire and is still on the loose. Yes, my friend. Yes. What a jerk. Absolutely. Hope they get him. Hawaii has a lot of homeless. Some people will buy their homeless family member a one-way ticket to Hawaii to go get rid of them and not have freezing to death on their consciousness. I've never thought of that, brother. I have never thought of that. I have only been through the Highway 95 area. Okay. There was, we were in South Georgia the last time I was down, me and Rob, and we went to the Animal Rescue Alliance. You'll hear us talk about them. It's a dog and cat rescue place, no kill shelter. Had a great time there. But one of the workers, or two of the workers, were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they were leaving to go to Colorado. And it was a weird dynamic to me that they were leaving South Georgia and going to Colorado. And it seemed like to me they didn't have a big plan. And we're like, it gets really cold there. Are y'all used to all that snow? And I don't know. It was like one of those, just throw a dart at a map and go, "Hey, Colorado, let's go." He said, "I moved from Oregon 3 years ago and vote conservative." Okay. There's a lot of Oregon. One of the guys I like listening to on Podbean, the Bards of War. I like listening to him. I don't always agree with everything he says, but I like it. I like a lot of what he says. So if you're on Podbean, listen to Bards of War, BOW, ex-military, great guy. And he raises his own cattle and stuff. Very good line, very pure. And I love his analogies and stuff. I need to listen. I ain't got to listen to him in a while. I've been so busy with our own podcast. I don't remember exactly what he of course he's an off the grid kind of guy. He don't give his address. He gives a PO box, and I think it's I want to say it's near Bend, Oregon, but I may be wrong on that. I may be wrong. Hey Barry, How you doing, Sea Dog? During the 14 days of Hawaii, I seen 2 homeless fights. Paradise as for climate and area, but not morally for human behavior. Sad. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did enjoy all the dog. That's what made it reminded me of. I did enjoy all the dog the bounty hunter interactions as they would go deal with. A lot of them were native Hawaiians. A lot of those guys. A lot of drugs, a lot of crime, a lot of homelessness. Such an expensive place to live. It'd be easy for that undercurrent of whatever you want to call it. They just turn to crime to try to survive. You know, like a lot of cities actually, but it is paradise for some. It is a hellhole for others. Is I think a fair way to put it. It's a beautiful place. You think about people going there and all the beauty of it, but then you've got all those people that are, man. I mean, it would look like a different nation, and it's just a different feel there because even though they're a state of the United States, they're very different. It's a very different thought process in Hawaii. I'm not an expert on Hawaii, but it's obvious a different thought process. You know, I mean, the tribal part of it, they did very blue. They're just different. It's just different, and that's interesting. I've never been though, and you have all the islands. You know, you go to different islands. Yes, Dean, Alaska is absolutely beautiful. Love Alaska. I do. I've never been there either. Although I would love to do the Alaskan cruise. Absolutely. That would be cool. The Alaska. I've had 2 friends. One is just getting back or just got back from the Alaskan cruise. And Miss Elizabeth, our Monday night co-host, she just got back about a week ago, a little over a week ago. It was a little over a week ago. I would love to go. My sister living in Nevada, she's got to go to a lot of national parks in California. And the redwoods, pretty amazing to her. A lot of military museums and stuff like that too. They've been able to go to. That's cool. But California has a lot of national parks, a lot. It would be fun to travel for 2 years and just visit as many national parks as you could, if you had the means to do it. You know, just travel and really enjoy the beauty of the land. Las Vegas is so beautiful. Well, you know, brother, I haven't been to Las Vegas, but I have been to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. She's in Nevada. Barry, thanks for asking. She still has a job. His is supposed to be ending. I don't know what they're doing. He's putting in his resume around. I need to get an update. For now, her job is safe, working for the VA remote. She could work from anywhere like that, but they may have to move. It's not a lot of options there. And so I don't know what's going to happen. They've got a few weeks before that happens. I knew there was some concern. We have the Chattahoochee National Forest of Georgia. Yes. Oh, I'd love to go there, brother. Love to go to Tombstone. That'd be a cool place to visit. I love the movie Tombstone too. It's the way my brain works. Val Kilmer, baby. Doc Holliday. One of the top 5 acting, just the way he delivered that of all time, my opinion. And the rest of the cast was amazing. There's no fall off. It's all great. What a cast. It's rare to get that kind of talent on screen all at one time and have enough lines for them that nobody gets left in the dust. Thank you, Barry. You know what? It's listen. I know from my side the value that he brings to what he does, but it is a government cut. Now, my hope is sometimes they've come in and announced we're cutting, and they've had to bring some back. They've been really quick. I thought a little fast in talking about cutting something. It was a rush. I think it's slowed down a little bit. It feels like it's slowed down. It's still going on though. It's not stopped. I just thought it was. I have no problem with cuts, but they cut in the wrong areas. Sometimes they cut too much. They cut whole departments out. They found out the work was not getting done. Um, it just could have been handled better. I've been a critic of that. I've took heat for that, and I don't care. It felt too fast. It was almost like a bloodthirst, and I couldn't talk to a lot of people about it, to be honest. And I didn't mention it on air too much because it caused division. And it's not that I'm running away from anything. I just didn't want the shows to become that. So I started sending things privately between people that I thought would needed to hear, or I want to give them an update or they ask. I'm okay with it now. But at the time, of course, it's extremely personal to me. It was very upsetting to me. And I found that friends of mine were very, and I'm not saying who those friends are, and, friends you don't even know about. I thought they were insensitive. And I thought that their reasons were not accurate. And so I just clammed up about it. And I just prayed about it, kept in contact with my family. And you know what? They had to do the same thing. They had to leave social media for a bit. The attack was so bad. They couldn't even talk about it openly because, people just looked at it as all government's bad. All government workers are bad. It's like, wait a minute. We're good people. We're conservatives. We're pro-military, pro-America. We're doing a good job. And when that axe man come through, a lot of people had that mentality, cut all the jobs. Well, you still have to have some jobs. I mean, come on. When you make that call, and if you're a vet or something and you need help, you don't need to get a busy signal, constantly. Somebody's got to do the jobs. So anyway, thanks for asking. That's kind of where it's at. I need to get an update. I've just tried to let it go on a little bit, not talk. I just let them. I didn't want to constantly be asking them. But I will get an update because that's true. That's truth right there. And these same people. I mean, they were for the president. They are for the president. They voted for the president. But this has it's damaged some of their opinions about some stuff. And I don't know if there's any going back. It's been a very traumatic time for them. And that's just two people's story. I always said, let's cut the waste. Let's get bad of the bad people. But again, I think they come in, battle, rattle, and just started cutting everything. And I know there were mistakes that were made. He told me some stories about mistakes that were made that may or may not have ever gotten the press and stuff that he was privy to. And it was it was too fast. So we'll see. And again, I'm always about people having their own opinions and stuff. Absolutely. Sure. But I just thought the insensitivity was a little difficult. I like I said, I caught flack. And I challenged that on the air, if you remember. I said, hold on. The people we're talking about, we know. And they're good people. This is not the one sitting in her office watching pornos all day. I mean, that was Anyway, so it's calmed down a little bit. But as far as I know, still has no job. Is on administrative leave for a bit, and with pay, and he's trying to figure out next steps. He may have to sell his house. They've been in that area for quite a while, So that's sad. He had been military, but he's now ex-military. But he was working for the military as a civilian. I just went to Washington the year before to get an award for work that his team had done out there. So we'll see. We'll see. Thanks for asking. Pray for him. All prayers accepted. You do what you do. Do the best you can. That's all you can do. Every one of us are subject to life-changing events happening at any moment. And we're so very blessed. And I'm just thankful to be on the top of the ground and relatively healthy. And we do have some things we got to deal with this week. Our son has to go to court. We just don't know what's going to happen. It's nerve-wracking to us. That'll be Tuesday. We'll just see. We'll have to see what happens. So pray for my wife and me. We'll see what happens. We know there's a lot of people struggling right now, health-wise and just other things. But hey, it's good to be here. It's good to be a podcast. I'm excited about all the things that's happening. We're gonna continue to push forward and make great things happen as best we can. We reinvest into the podcast often, and that's we're not making money. We're just the money we make is going back in the podcast and trying to make things better. Yeah, we did a patriotic today at church too, Dean. I preached on the freedom of a nation and the freedom of man, and I had a good time with it. It was good dinner. We just did the regular grill out stuff, but it was good, and I very much enjoyed it. So glad. I hope you had a good time. I know that church. I know you had a good time in the Lord. Um, it was great to be there and to meet with some of our folks. Some were out, some were with other people. It's a holiday, it's getting close to holiday. A lot of churches were doing stuff. So sometimes people want to go be with their son or their whoever, and they visit other places. So, yeah, they are. Well, of course, my sister, I've known her whole life. And Frank is an amazing dude. He's like a brother, like another brother. He's really stepped up and did some things to help us that people don't even know. And my respect and my love for him are without end. So I do absolutely appreciate both of them. And they are good people, hardworking, love the country, love the military, very attached to the military. We've had him on to talk about car. He posts car stuff all the time. They do them car shows. He's very involved. His car won an award. He won first place at the last one they ran, I think. He just got through putting that back together. But I would like to talk to him sometime on the air more about just military and getting his thoughts about the military and different things. History, he loves history like me. And I would love to just talk about some of those things related to history. We're going to have more history. I'm telling you, I'm talking to a guy I tried to get a guy. I haven't heard back from him that I want to talk about the 12 years of Reconstruction in the South. I think that would be awesome. Well, thanks, Barry. Yeah, I am who I am by the grace of God. You get what you get. But thanks for saying that. And I think I told Rob when we first started, there's certain qualifiers about this podcast thing we're going to start. Number one was we be who we are. I don't like trying to be something I'm not. That was the easy one. We didn't have to think about that. To always share our faith. It's not a ministry per se podcast, although it has ministry in it, but we'll always share our faith. We will not judge anyone from wherever they are in the world, but we will always share our faith. And I absolutely. It's possible that Rob might be out of that wig. Other than that, well, we do have our crazy moments. Ryan Dawson is great on the Civil War. I've heard his name. I definitely want to get. We're definitely going to have some historical shows coming. It's been in the works for a while. It's just there's been so many other things I'm working on. Dean likes these shows that are not scripted. We got to have a couple though, Dean. We got to have a couple of scripted shows. The Jeb and Bubba show is releasing late tonight, third episode. Again, that's just a half hour with music and a commercial stuck in the middle. But the third episode is done. It's in the books. Uncle Jeb and Bubba go to Pigeon Forge and go to Comedy Bar. I'm releasing that like at midnight. Weird time. I don't care. They're weird. They do odd stuff. So I thought, why not release it like really late, like at an odd time, like 11:55 or something. And that's exactly when it's going to release. 11:55 p.m. tonight is the Jeb and Bubba show, third episode. Ryan, anyway, I'm in with a group. I got invited into a group because of my love of history. I guess they picked up on it, and being Southern, somebody invited me into a group that is a part of that story that never gets enough coverage. I mean, you can never study it all out, but the 12 years of Reconstruction for some reason is avoided, and that was 12 years. Well, we're talking about a war that was horrible, yes, 4 years. But the 12 years after in the South was brutal. Absolutely brutal. And I definitely want to have a show soon talking about the war between the states, but the 12 years of Reconstruction. And I'll probably just make it a regular show, like I need another one, but I'm such a history guy. And so I'll be looking for that. It'll be a Rumble. It'll definitely be on Rumble. We may put it on everything. I don't know. But a history show that's coming. It's coming. And there's a little bit of reformatting I want to do on a couple of things anyway. And we'll see where it fits in. Trying to maximize the prime time as best we can. There's only so many hours. But the Southern Fried Vent is probably going to move a little bit. Nothing wrong with it. We love it. But I told Rob it doesn't fit right where it's at. I want to relocate that. We haven't talked about how we're going to do that. It might even stay the same night. But it's got to move a little bit. There's reasons for that. But history show is coming. It'll probably be an hour long, although it'll probably go past it. And I would, we'll talk about various history, but certainly War Between the States history is going to be a big part of it because we're in a hotbed of that history here in the South. And I can go right out my door and within 2 minutes be at a historical site for that. In Tennessee alone, there are over 600 sites related to the War Between the States. 600. Think about it. Wow. That could be a roadside sign to forts to parks. But I can go to tons of things just within 30 minutes in any direction of my home. In any direction. So it is full of history, Dean, yes. And there's other history too, but that's certainly a big part around here. During Reconstruction, we used to be Federal District 3. I haven't heard the District 3 part, but they were split up into districts. And if you were standing with a group of men, you could be shot and killed on sight because they could say that you were ready, trying to conspire to start an insurrection. So that's why the rise of some of the things that rose up. But that 12 years was bad. Bad. It was a punishment to the South. There are some of them that do like Jeb and Bubba. For those that don't know, we have about 5,500 followers on Red Note. And it's not just that, my friend. I have people that like the MAGA Minute, the Bible devotions. We put a lot of short videos up there. I have put up the whole Sunday morning in the Word, and have gotten some likes on it too. Handfuls. All I want to do is influence 1, 2, 3. I'm not looking to set the world on fire. But we're also doing some stuff just specific to Red Note. You won't see it anywhere else. I say we. It's really me. It's just something I'm doing, and it's because of the audience. It's absolutely geared to just them, and we don't release it anywhere else. One day, Rob saw the background for it. He goes, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, that's for the Chinese channel. That's what he calls it." I said, "Yes." So we do some unique stuff for that. I just felt like the right thing to do, you know. So there's a lot of little things like we just got so many things we've got to tie together, like our Shopify, our coffee, our TikTok shop, our regular shop. I just got to get all this pulled together. I'm working on all that right now. Like I said, been doing a lot of legal stuff, a lot of updates to legal paperwork and stuff, getting approved, making sure that everything's right. I'm going to do a test run on the buy. I'll be the first consumer of coffee. I've already been a consumer of the coffee. It's great, but I'll be the first one to buy from ourselves. We're going to test the system and make sure it goes good. But we're working to get everything set up. I wanted to have June 1st. It didn't happen, but July 1st is coming. But within the next week, we're hoping to at least have most of it set up. There's still some things I've got to work on, but it'll be an ongoing project. But we already have over 800 items in our showcase on TikTok. That'll be 1,000 by the end of the week. We will be adding our store into Shopify. The coffees will go online, and there'll be other stuff along the way. Plus the Patriot Mobile and all the things we work with. So it's a lot. It's not the fun stuff, but it's the necessary stuff. It's like doing your taxes. You got to do it. It's not fun, but you got to do it. So this is the fun part, coming on here and talking to y'all and getting all these different viewpoints and stuff, and hitting the wrong button and making people think I kicked them out when I didn't. Sorry, brother. Thanks for all your coming in here tonight. Y'all brought some really good stuff tonight, and I a lot of you would be great in the history show. So we'll just see. I'm probably gonna do like I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be on probably a night that we don't do anything, and I'll try to pop it in there. We don't do much. We do our sports and racing show, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays is a date that I've left open a little bit. I do morning show a lot. I do a morning show every morning, just about. Now if I'm sick or something, it don't happen. But on the days that me and Rob don't get together, I do a couple of morning shows. I do a 5-day a week on Podbean live called the Cornbread Man Morning Show. That's new. But Tuesday night, as long as I'm feeling good, that might be where the history show jumps in. I got to get going. I love history, man. I love it. Well, Dean, you come on by and join in the conversation, because I definitely, and I want to have some guests because I want to get other viewpoints, some people that are really studied, and I know some people, but I'm willing to reach out and talk, and they don't have to be a PhD or nothing like that, but I do want to get some people that's really spent their life passion studying some things. I'm going to try to get the local historian on. He's pretty good about doing things. He's a Yankee, but he's a good guy. He's very knowledgeable, and he's fair. He's fair to the South in this story, and he is an employee of the federal government. But I'm telling you, he has done his work. He's a Maryland guy, Maryland. He's been here for a long time, and I've dealt with him many times. I'm gonna see if I can get him on his schedule is probably pretty packed. That's his job, is to interact with people and drive those stories. But I want to try to see if I can get him on for the first show. And then we can, after he goes off, then we can have chat about those things. And we, or we'll talk about chat through it. But I want to narrow it down and talk about some things that he did a talk one night that I was at, and it was so daggum interesting. And it was stuff that I hadn't even thought about. And he shared some information that just was so deep. And he's a student. He's a student of history, and that's his job. He loves it though. He's got a passion for it, and he's been doing it here for a long time. They usually move those guys around, but he is so ingrained here. Excuse me, my voice. He is so ingrained here that he has he has been left here, and I'm thankful for that because, like I said, his study of this area. I don't know anybody that knows as much as him. I mean, again, he's looking at all sides, and that's fair. That's fair. But he's definitely fair to that. I got to preach on the national battlefield one morning, and he listened to it, and he was impressed. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. He really wanted me to work with him. I just didn't have the time to do some public stuff, dress up in the period as a chaplain and do a talk covering some of the sermons of the war. Nobody does that really. And I who knows? In my older years, we could probably put something together and talk about that because the faith part drove the soldiers, drove them. And I've said this recently, both sides believed they had a divine right to the war and that they were going to win because of divine favor. And that's the power of that. And there's a lot of historical evidence here of just how much faith influenced a lot of these folks, even really close to here. So there's some pretty interesting stories that are factual that came out that are written in books. Well, yeah, it is. After we got it back from Tennessee, bunch of federal thieves. And then Tennessee guy didn't want to give it back. Sorry, you Tennessee folks. But we got it in Kennesaw. We're not giving it back. That's a great story in itself. The Andrews Raiders. And yes, that's very close to here. Yeah, Barry, and you should be a part. You're a student of history. You definitely come be a part. I'll try to let you know in the next couple of weeks, brother. I've just had so much going on with the business part. I mean, I'm ready like now, but I need to make some phone calls and see emails. Not this week. I can't do it on Tuesday this week. The next Tuesday is election runoff. I think, or maybe that's 2 weeks out. Let's see. Actually, no, it is actually. That I'll be busy with elections. So not Tuesday, but 2 weeks from Tuesday. 2 weeks from Tuesday. Or is that? I'll have to look on the calendar. But in July, we're going to start it. That's been on my mind to do it. I just haven't talked about it, but it's something I've always wanted to do anyway. I got to come up with some graphics and stuff and some good sounding music that I don't get in trouble for. I'll come up with my own. And I love the music of that period. I love it. Love it. I'd love to get, there's some groups that I know, I'd love to get them to come on and talk about the music and what they recreate. It'd be a gold mine to get unreconstructed on. That would be a great time to talk about Reconstruction and get them on. So I would look for that to happen soon. And like I said, in this month, and I'm looking at the calendar. Actually, it's actually 2 weeks is the election. So maybe a week from Tuesday, we could do the first one. But I can't do that other week. I'd have to move it to Thursday because we've got elections. It's a wild week. I've got court Tuesday with my son. We don't know what's going to happen there. Next week is, or 2 weeks is the election runoff. God, it's going to be a long day, but that's something we do because there's only one office, one thing, and I bet we won't get 10 voters. We might get more than that. I don't know since it's a runoff at our precinct. We only had 15 election day. 15 I've never seen it that bad. But it's a Democrat runoff primary, and anyway, that week on Friday, I'm gonna take off, and we're gonna leave for South Georgia to Camilla. Yes, I've been down to Cassville. I've done videos in Cassville, brother. Right there at Cassville. I actually did a video of my son right there at those monuments. And that's the cool part about doing this show from here is as I travel, I got so much of that here, and I can do promo spots from historical sites all over the place and not be more than 30, 45 minutes from my house. Tons. Absolutely. And not just war between the states, Indian removal, the Trail of Tears. So, I got a national battlefield that's right here in my back door. But I'm within range of that whole system has several spots. And I could go do some promos from there, do little spots, create my own content, Absolutely. I'm stoked about it. And I believe there are a lot of folks that are, that listen to it. I think they love that kind of stuff. Yeah. The Southern Fried is a very diverse podcast. And I got to get off here in a minute because I'm going to crank up at 9. We're going to talk about the news of the day and really dive into politics. Live on the side of Missionary Ridge. There was definitely a lot of history there, Dean. But what I was going to say is I forgot what I was going to say. Dean, you made me look. What was I going to say? Anyway, but I'm fired up about it. I do want to talk about it. People talk to me about history all the time, and they love that I have enough. I've probably forgotten more than I ever knew, but I have been involved in quite a bit, and I have contact and connection to a lot of people who have done a lot of study, and there are so many people I can reach out to be guests that I don't think it'd be a big problem. Some of them I haven't seen in a while, but I have so many different kinds of folks that I could talk to, and I think that they would be really big. And it would be a lot of it would be war between the states, but that's a big part of what people study here in this southeastern part of the United States. So, and what I was going to say is we're in a very diverse podcast, and it was by design. And hey, I love like some shows I listen to. That's almost all they do is politics, and I love it. But I've always wanted more, and so we do a lot of slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, we just. I mean, I told Rob, I said, man, I can't be limited to 3 or 4 ideas. I just can't be that. I've got to do some things that feed my soul, and so he felt a little pressure. I think at first, like I can't do all them shows. I'm like, you don't have to, man. You don't have to. I'm just going to be on a lot more. Don't take it the wrong way. We do what we do as a unit is the basis of the podcast. But you, me, we can do whatever we want. We've got time and we're paying for it. Let's get on and make it happen. And I hit the ground running with that, and I've never looked back. So I enjoy. I'm like a program guy for a radio, station or something. I like the. I've got no. I write by hand. I do have a calendar I type into. I write down the show program by hand because I love doing that. That's just the way I'm kind of geared. So like I keep a calendar, I'll hand write into it, and it keeps me on track. Kind of helps my brain. And I love writing in those different shows. And there's a couple things I want to come up and do some specific stuff in certain platforms. I can't wait. It's just getting there, man. We've had so much going on. We had been hard to find the time to do it. And you got to live your life, and you got to have your family time. And I try to do a lot early morning, late at night, and I knew I was going to podcast a lot tonight, so I didn't do any yesterday. So I was jonesing for a show. I took this longer than I even intended, but you know what? That's great. Thanks for everybody being in here. We have a lot of people on X in here tonight. Thank you for stopping by. And we run it on we run it on 2 channels, I think. Well, tonight it might just be 1 because Rumble Studios being a pain. It never happens. This is rare that I couldn't get to come up. If it's airing, I don't think it is. It just didn't work. I'll redo it. I thought it was acting kind of weird when I was putting it together. I know it was Rumble because I redid it in our system 3 times while the song was playing. And I'm like, it's a Rumble issue. Love you, Rumble, but Studio's been acting kind of weird. I think they're doing updates and stuff and not telling us. Getting ready for that July 1st flip over is what it is, because there's changes being coming for the content creators. So things are amping up and stepping up. We definitely need y'all to be chatting on the Rumble side. It'll help us in the month of July. So we have to have 20 individual. I've got half of that almost myself, so it won't be a problem. For somebody like Killer Carl, he'll knock that out in one night, most likely. And I applaud that. God bless him. I think that's great. See, Dean, you we're off this weekends. So, right? So, yeah, you work. So our racing show will be Thursday. Sports will be Friday? No, not Friday. What can we do? Yeah, no. You're doing Thursday. You work Friday. We'll figure it out. We got to figure out the sports night. The spots. We may have to do it back to back, brother. We may have to figure that out. Got cornbread in there too. Cornbread, the cornbread man. Yes. Yeah, gotta go back. I do too. I hate having to take off for court. I definitely will be there for my son, but I hate taking off. I hate missing work. We got so much going on. I can't afford the time away. But you got to do what you got to do. We got a lot of things on the irons, man. We got to get done. Well, we may have to do that, brother. We might have to bump up and start a little earlier and make it happen. Because if we don't, we're going to bump right into Cornbread Nation. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll talk offline, as they say. Call me. No, we'll talk at work or text or something. We'll figure it out. There's always a way. We got to do it. Well, folks, we'll get off here. It's a very long MAGA, Southern Fried MAGA, but I loved it. It's great stuff. A lot of input. We'll be right back. I may be slightly after. I got to reboot for the news. Got to figure Rumble out. Well, let's talk about the politics of what's going on with the big, beautiful bill. Things around the world. Bring it. We'll continue chatting, but it'll become more political. Take care. We'll see you in a few. And looking forward to it. And then tonight, releasing late, Jumpin' Bubba. Most of you probably won't be up. That's okay. We get the song ready, and we will depart.